Your Honor, as has been recognized, sentencing is a central, it's a critical part in the administration of justice. And the objectives are clearly laid out in the sentencing guidelines, the judiciary sentencing guidelines. In order to determine whether the convict deserves custodial and non-custodial sentence. And in this case, as in our submission, we will be seeking for custodial sentence. Your Honor, a look at the factors to consider which are laid out in the sentencing guidelines. One of the factors that would urge court to look at is the seriousness of the offense. There is no doubt that terrorism is a very serious offense due to its nature and the effects that it has to the country. And all the counts that the convict has been convicted all arise from POTA, Prevention of Terrorism Act. Secondly, the impact that the offense has on victims. Your Honor, there is no doubt that this country has suffered and continues to suffer the effects of terrorism offenses which have been committed. Which have left a long effect on the victims. Both physically, mentally, and economically. And it is in the interest of justice and the wider public interest to ensure that perpetrators of such are given the punishment that they deserve. Your Honor, another consideration that this court should look at is the issue of the general intelligence of the accused person, the convict. Your Honor, there is no doubt that the convict is a medical doctor who was working at Water District Hospital. I don't know the current name is Water County Hospital. Paid for by the taxpayer his salary. So he knew very well what he was doing, what the intentions were, and this should be taken into consideration. He has not alleged that he was taken advantage of and he was possessed of the requisite intelligence to know what he was doing. The other consideration, Your Honor, is that there has been no exhibition of remorsefulness on his part. Or even an attempt to atone for his deeds. So as to see whether this court can visit mercy upon him. And therefore, this also should be considered in determining the appropriate sentence. Your Honor, the other criteria is the defenseless nature of the victims. It should be noted, it's judicial notice that terrorism affects, as I had pointed out, affects everyone. In most cases, defenseless. They cannot defend themselves. And in this case, there was the use of technology to perpetrate the crime. We therefore pray that this should be taken into consideration. Your Honor, based on that criteria, looking at the counts for which the convict has been convicted of. On count 1, on membership, the Act provides for a period not exceeding 30 years. On behalf of the prosecution, considering that the convict has been in custody for 8 years now, we propose a sentence of 22 years for the first count on membership. In relation to the second count on organizing a meeting, the Act provides that a sentence should not exceed 20 years. Considering that the accused person, the convict, has been in custody for 8 years, we propose a period of 12 years. On count 4 on recruitment to a terrorist group, the Act provides for a sentence of 30 years. We propose a sentence of 22 years, considering the period in custody. On the 7th count, on collection of information, the Act provides for a maximum sentence of 30 years. We propose 22 years. And on the last count, that provides for a maximum period of 20 years, we propose a period of 12 years. The question then would be, should they be consecutive or concurrent? I look at the particulars of the charge and the evidence that was tendered before court shows that these offenses were committed over a period of time, over a period of number of years. It was not a one-off transaction where one performs an act and stops at that and an offense is committed. This was an offense that kept on being committed over a given period of time. It's on this basis we pray that the sentence be served as consecutively, not concurrently. And therefore that would make